Hey guys, what's up? Well, I just got back from the Oregon Knife Show, and I spent entirely too much money. I went all out. I found a lot of treasures, but I spent too much. That's not to say that I didn't get a good deal on what I bought, but oh boy. Let's take a look here. Let's look at this first thing I got here. This is a Lapu Lapu Corto by Bram Frank. Don't you actually know the guy who designs and markets these? Mr. Bram Frank himself. This is a sweet little blade. It's got a neat little puzzle lock up on here. Really strong. It's got a good blade shape. Amazingly strong and comfortable G10 handle. Oh, sorry, that's not very good. Opens up real good. Nice blade, not very expensive. And this is designed as a self-defense knife. This can be used as a utility knife, used quite well actually. I've been using it as such. But it's designed primarily around self-defense. In that light, the blade also came with a trainer. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. I don't like the angle the tripod gives me, so it comes with a trainer, which is the same in every way as a live blade, but it has a aluminum butter knife blade, so that way, when you're sparring and practicing, you don't cut yourself or your partner, and nobody gets hurt. Really neat little concept. I like it. I plan on using it a lot more lately, but that's for another time. So, that's the blade. But as you can see, even though I went to a knife show, I didn't come back with knives. I came back with one knife. I came back with books. Lots of books, because I am a book nut. I've always have been. And I get to go to the excess sometimes. So half these books are on firearms, about half are on blades, and I got a lot of really nice magazines. We'll get to those in a second. First book is one of two in a series, U.S. Infantry Weapons of the First World War. Very nice thick book, detailed, very detailed descriptions of the firearms we used, machine guns, rifles, accessories, even there's Winchesters, Enfields, holsters, pistols, fighting knives. Really, really in-depth, like who made them, how many were made by which manufacturer. Oh, also a section on flamethrowers back in the day, World War I. And even, check this out, experimental flaming bayonet mounted on an M1917 rifle. This wasn't designed to make a liquid fire bayonet, but basically mount a miniature flamethrower underneath the bayonet for trench clearing. We were hard sons of bitches back then. When we fought war, we didn't fuck around. We just got in there and went after it. So, there's that one. Sorry about that. Next book in the series is obviously U.S. Infantry Weapons of World War II. Basically the same thing. You got your trench knife and bayonet section, different loading techniques, grenades, bazookas, machine gun designs. Yeah, it's just basically the same type of thing as for the World War I, but a little bit more in depth for World War II. Favorite section again, just because you don't really find a lot of good info on the topic these days, is on our flamethrower designs. And here it gets really in-depth with close-up drawings, really good descriptions of the tactics we used, why they changed models, what were the problems with, say, this model from this model. So, very good book. This one's Steel Canvas, The Art of American Arms. This is all about fine custom firearms. Just the art of American firearms. You can see, here's a left-handed Sharps from back in the 1850s. I mean, you didn't see many of that. All these short little derringers, swords, as well, blades, really fine gold firearms. There's a section in here that has like, oh, here we go. This is just a book about art with firearms as its canvas. Amazing book. I couldn't let it go. This one, German Sniper, 1914-1945. Very in-depth book. Not really a whole lot of writing, but a lot of captioning on very excellent condition actual examples of the firearms with their reticles, advertising. So basically, if you're a collector and you're into this stuff, this is the absolute perfect book to get because it shows you in-depth descriptions of actual examples. These are non-forgeries, but it also goes into what forgeries are using, or at least were using back in the day to try and trick you. Just an amazing book. So, there's that. Parker Guns. This is just basically American memorabilia right here, just the history of Parker shotguns and rifles. Not so much a picture book, although pictures are well done. It's a good, solid reading book. Hey, look at that. The side-loading shotgun. You didn't break the action, you actually rotated it to load it. Alright. We got Remington double shotguns. It's just a book on, like the title says, Remington's double shotguns from back in the day. Remington still made double shotguns. All their models, all their intricacies, different types of engraving and checkering and serial numbers. Neat book. Anything about Remington is just great. A bit of Americana to have. Now, here is something interesting. Smallest of the World. This is a second edition. I actually have the first edition that I got about 10 years ago when I was about 10 years old and just getting into firearms. It's an amazing volume that the first section of which goes into firearms development, and then it goes into by nation, everything they basically had used in World War I, World War II, and are currently using. This is a very similar book. This one goes right up to about 1960. This is a revised edition with the new developments in firearms since World War II, and with though showing a lot of the same firearms goes into about 1970. So you see a lot of revision of Russian stuff and Eastern Bloc equipment, especially now that we have captured examples of which. Amazing. Very good. Very good. That completes the firearms books. We'll get to the magazines in a second. I want to show you this stuff. Connoisseur's Book of Japanese Swords. This is the book if you are getting into Japanese swords. It is a very intellectual book on the subject. This is not a picture grazed through book. In-depth descriptions on different periods of Japanese history and the type of swords that would come out of it by the different makers. It's, like I said, it's a connoisseur's book. This is the Intelligence's book on this kind of stuff. Very amazing. Very good. We got Cutting Edge, Japanese Swords in the British Museum. This is basically an art book, but it gives you a set of examples of what you would probably see from those periods as well. All the writers' initials, just beautiful blades, as well as color examples of all the mounts and the art from the time period. Very good purchase. There we go. We got, I'm kind of on a theme. You can see Swords of Imperial Japan. These are all the swords, in-depth descriptions from about 1860 to 1945, what they were making, what they were issuing to their men. These are not, oh, that's pretty. These aren't, the traditional forged folded swords. These are factory swords for their officers and non-commissioned officers. But amazing top. I didn't realize before I got this book that a lot of swords prior to World War II used by Japan were basically of European design and style, especially heavily influenced by the French and the Germans. But you're into Japanese production swords, that's the stuff. Here we go. Knives of the United States Military, World War II. I actually bought this book at one vendor at the shop, but then found out through a roundabout way that the actual author was also at the show as well. There he is. Actually got a picture of him with me at the show. It didn't come out very well, but I'll post it on there. Knives of World War II. Now this is not a descriptive book. It's pretty much a picture book with a little bit of discussion of what's standard issue and what was not, but it just provides an absolutely stellar photographic reference of not only trench art, but production knives and non-standard production knives. And just so you can see what's real and what's not. You know, we got the M3s, there's a double-edged M3 trench knife. It's a very, very rare blade. One of my favorite blades in this book. Let me see if I can find it here. Here we go. Case, then as now, was a big producer of knives. They never made a K-bar, but they did make a prototype. And there she is. They made one prototype, and it sold at auction in the 80s when the factory held an auction, and there it is. Absolutely beautiful blade. K-bar profile, nothing really changed about it, but just beautiful quality. So, of course, you get back here, you start seeing trench art and production knives, and just, oh, there's some Randalls. Those are definitely not trench art. Just beautiful book. If you can find a copy, wonderful. Then I got 2 volumes, as you can see here, German Swords of World War II. Now we know the Germans, unlike the Japanese, didn't use swords as a weapon of combat during World War II, but they were signs of rank and privilege, especially when they were in the rear echelons at weddings, at ceremonies, and they wore swords. And these are the different kinds of swords that they all used. I'm no Nazi fan, but it is really amazing to see this stuff and also the photography. It allows you to know that this stuff really did happen, and we can strive to not repeat such mistakes. But this is just, from a historical perspective, this is amazing. I know I use that word amazing a lot, but it is really the only word you can use to describe it. So this is pretty much the same as that book. This one's for the Luftwaffe and the Kriegsmarine. That one's for the Army. A lot of the same stuff. Last book is this one. Uniforms and Equipment of the Austro-Hungarian Army in World War I. You don't really see a lot of stuff on World War I, so this kind of piqued my interest. But if you open her up, it breaks it down to sections. You got the machine gunners, you got the Air Force, you got the non-commissioned officers, and it's just, even the Bosnians are in here because they were part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire at that point. And it's just, even if you don't really care about what they were wearing or what distinguished one unit from the other, it is just an amazing photographic collection of this culture and society, fragmented as it was during this period in history. And I couldn't let it go. So that's the end of the books. Now the magazines. Now some people, they get a magazine in the subscription, they read it, and then they throw it away. It's done in their eyes. It serves its purpose. It's no longer useful. I'm not like that. I've kept every magazine that I've ever subscribed to in the firearms world. Guns and Ammo, Guns, National Rifleman, you name it. If I've subscribed to it and I got it, I kept it. I consider them a valuable reference, a quick source of reliable information that can easily be turned back to if you're confused on something or you just need to check something real quick. They also provide a really interesting insight into what was going on at the time in the firearms world. I got a bunch from the publication Guns, a very popular publication today, and actually the best in my opinion today. And there it is. I got issues from 1956 all the way into 62. You know, just got issues on some of the first laser firearms coming out when laser development was getting a lot of funding, and then dropped suddenly thereafter. You know, we got Weatherby and his brand new elephant rifle. You know, hunting elephant with a deer rifle. They're not promoting that. They're just talking about how it was done back in the day. I mean, geez, this period of is the bolt action obsolete? No, it is not. The question's still asked today. It's just this type of writing, you don't really, I mean, you still see the quality of it in Guns magazine, but in a lot of publications today, you don't really see the quality of writing anymore, and the risk taking they took in writing. Oh, look at these old advertisements. Oh, we got NATO conversion Enfields going for $30, genuine Mauser actions going for $55. Hunters confiscated confiscated Mosin Nagants, $14.50. Hold on, let me see. This is something that you. Okay. Yes, P17 Enfields going for $37.50. Oh my gosh! Look at those old Italian rifles, $10. Is there one? There's one in here that has Springfields in it. Hold on, let me see. No, not that one. Is it Mr. Weatherby's issue? Well, just price shock coming back today. You can't find those guns any less than $500 if you're. Oh, look at this. Here we go. British fired just one round from these pre-war Springfields, only $50. Oh my God! But that was back in 1956, and just for inflation, that was probably a $600 rifle in today's money. So you got these are talking about grandpa's revolvers. You just don't see this kind of writing. This is an issue from Rifle. You know, fairly good, but like I said, a reference. Now, the classic example of the quality of writing I'm talking about is Guns and Ammo. This is just my personal opinion, but I think Guns and Ammo is just a shadow and a washed up version of what it used to be. Back then, especially in their special issues, they were amazing. They're one on big bore rifles, just amazing, awesome photography. I'm using that thick freaking word amazing. Oh look, there's Elmer Keith. This is when all the greats were writing for him. Finn Agard, Elmer Keith, Jack O'Connor, even Duke Venturino was writing for him, and Clint Smith as well. Just high quality writing, very in depth, even taking risks in making predictions and assumptions. You just don't see this anymore. Another example of this period, as far as Guns and Ammo goes, is these two annual editions that I have from 89 and 90. Here, we got Purdy 600 Nitro Express. When's the last time you saw a 600 Nitro Express in Guns and Ammo? We got CO2 guns, come of age. Those are all in air guns. Hunting with Caplock revolvers, Lugers of the Croat Legion. Oh, this is back when you could still get Chinese guns in the country. This is on the Chinese Connection when Poly Technologies was starting to make their AKs for the American market and their M14s. You saw the whole production process. This is when Gary James was still young. There he is, right there. You don't see this anymore. There's Poly Technologies there. This is, I think, one of these two guns. Oh, there's the coupe. Has an article that is still my favorite article that Guns and Ammo ever did. Oh yes, they're right here. Talking about the 416 Rigby. This is one of them South African dudes. Just, you don't see this kind of writing anymore, or the effort that they put into it. And here's the other one where they're talking about shotguns. There's an old trench gun, Winchester trench gun, pocket powerhouses, talking about Nazi police handguns. Yeah, I don't know if they don't write like this anymore because they think everyone's seen it and doesn't care. Oh, look at those old air guns. Yeah, so yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. But M1 Grand, yeah. I didn't get these two at the show. I've had these for about 10 years. Never got rid of them. So my gun show weekend in a nutshell. I spent too much money, but I got some great treasures. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.